There's been a major breakthrough in the recent London terror attacks. One of the attackers, surprise, surprise, has been identified as 27-year-old Pakistan-origin man Khurram Butt, who was a British citizen and had already been investigated by the police and Britain's domestic spy agency MI5. Take a look at the man on your screen. Khurram Butt is of Pakistani origin, and nobody, especially us here in India, is surprised by this development, because remember, not every Pakistani may be a terrorist, but you can be sure that no matter where the terrorist attack happens, there is a direct or indirect Pakistani connection. In this case, in the form of the man on your screen, Khurram Butt, because you can be sure that Pakistan is the epicenter of terror, not that here in India we needed any reminding, and that's why we are least surprised that there is a direct Pakistani connection in the London terror attacks. I'm Shiv Arur. This is India First. Thanks for tuning in. Another terror video has surfaced from the Kashmir Valley today, and it is indicative of just how desperate the Islamic State and its affiliates are to find some kind of footing in India. They're desperate and they're not able to find it. You might ask why we are perpetuating this propaganda video here in India today. Let's just tell you, these people haven't found a footing, and our intelligence agencies are well aware of who these people are and where they are. Three masked men on your screens on this video, they can be heard propagating a caliphate and asking Kashmiri youth to join their movement against India, issuing a dire warning to women in the valley. The terrorists have asked them to dress appropriately and follow Islam. Meanwhile, the other video, which came to light on Thursday, again, which you saw on India Today, shows a factional war in the Hizbul Mujahideen, the other big terror organization. Remember, the ISIS has no profile whatsoever in India. The Hizbul Mujahideen is hitting out in the open at the rival camp of Zakir Musa's faction, who has warned dissenters that they will meet the same fate as Sabzar Butt. Let's go straight across to India Today's internal security affairs correspondent Kamaljeet Sandhu for more on this. Kamal, a new video purportedly by ISIS sympathizers or affiliates warning of a caliphate. Clearly the ISIS is pretty desperate to have some kind of footprint in India, and that's why we're seeing all these videos come out.
Well, Shiv, as far as the information coming in from our sources is, there is a split between Hizbul Mujahideen. This is a video which is doing the rounds of social media. This is obviously a group which has earlier blamed Zakir Musa for spilling the beads on Sabzar Butt location. That's a charge Zakir Musa has now denied. But this is the second video which has come in. Three militants clearly visible. What they're saying is there should be establishment of the caliphate. They're saying there should be Islamic law, that women should not come out without being fully clothed or being in a burqa. The fact there should not be any things on, whether it's a marriage or otherwise. So clearly there is a split in Hizbul Mujahideen. Clearly these militants are talking about Islamic rule, a caliphate rule. And this is what the story really is about. That different countries in the world are also keeping an eye on Kashmir. Whether there is an Islamic radicalization, that now seems to be a key concern. It's not the indigenous militancy, it is not just sponsored militancy, but also the new sort of Islamic militancy and radicalization, which is now hitting Kashmir. And that is where this agenda of where these people are coming from, who these people are, because they're clearly not named, they cannot be seen, they have no faces. So yes, that is now a key concern, and whether this engineered split will cause some sort of damage within Hizbul Mujahideen. Are they going to be taking orders from across the border? That is something all eyes really on. But yes, many in the security agencies are saying, are watching with great and keen interest whether there would be some sort of split and damage that they will do to each other, or whether there could be what the modernization was, Wahhabi versus Salafi culture that is now being seen within Kashmir Valley. So yes.
Kamal, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got some breaking news coming in. Kamal, stay with me for a moment. All right, breaking news coming in. A high alert has been sounded and security increased at two state-owned hydroelectric power units in Jammu and Kashmir's Uri sector after intelligence reports warned of a terror strike. This is big news coming in. A specific intelligence alert at two energy units, hydroelectric power projects in Uri sector. Uri, remember, which was the site of a major terror attack in September last year in which 21 Indian Army Jawans were killed. Now we understand that two strategic sites, two hydroelectric power projects are on the terror crosshairs. Let's go straight across once again to Kamal, who's got this news for us. Kamal, what more can you tell us about this intelligence alert?
Hafiz Saeed may be under house arrest, but his men are taking directions. This is obviously a news which is coming in. Tehreek-e-Azadi Jammu and Kashmir and Al-Mohammadi students, both are Lashkar-e-Taiba student wings, and we've been told by our sources the alert has been sounded because intelligence inputs gathered now suggest that the student wings who are trained in swimming and negotiating into rivers will swim across the valley, especially in the opposite direction, because remember the flow of the river is from India towards Pakistan. So they will be doing a difficult climb back and swimming and wading deep waters to India. The effort is to really target locations, especially we're talking about not just security camps, and we've seen a terror attack taking place in Uri and one in Bandipora, but also the Uri Hydel project. And all alert has been sounded by the CISF. We've been told a high alert has been sounded. There are 500 men who've been deployed at security duty. The vigil has been increased. There's a 24/7 round-clock vigil which has been increased. And obviously keeping in mind that Pakistan is going to continue to push in terrorists, and this is going to be their new strategy. Lashkar-e-Taiba chief monitoring that kind of bit, and obviously the students being initiating and taking that particular lead. And that's not happened before, but we've seen whether it's 2611, any kind of new tactics being used by Lashkar-e-Taiba and LET terror module, and this could be a significant step.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Kamal. Disturbing news coming in. We know that Uri on the line of control has always been a suitable target as far as Pakistani terrorists and infiltrators and border action teams is concerned. We understand that they're still looking to cause damage there. As you heard Kamal just tell us, there have been reinforcements sent to the area. We'll keep a track of that story very, very closely. All right, there's more breaking news coming in. Intelligence reports have warned of a possible strike by ISI-backed Khalistani groups around the time of the Operation Blue Star anniversary later this month. Well, you from time to time hear about the Khalistan threat. It has never been ascribed to any great importance so far, but now it appears that backed by the ISI, emotions are being stirred up, and on the anniversary of Operation Blue Star, already an emotive incident, Khalistan groups could try and create some kind of tension in the country, especially in Amritsar. That's the breaking news we're getting to you. We'll get a little deeper into that ahead here on India Today. And our top story this evening, London attacker Khurram Butt was previously investigated by the police. He's a Pakistani origin person, but with resources scarce, he was not seen as a potential threat. That's the irony. Here's a look at how the London police and the government let loose this Pakistan origin terrorist who went on to kill so many on London Bridge. Let's go straight across to India Today's Lavina Tandon joining us live from London. Lavina, we're all, just discovering the story of how Khurram Butt, had earlier been charged. There wasn't enough evidence to keep him under constant monitoring, and he went on to become this ghastly terrorist.
Shiv, there is so much coming now through all the three three suspects that have been now identified. Let me first talk about Khurram, as you have started on with it. In the documentary that you were just seeing, that was as you know, done by Channel 4. The other guy that you see in that documentary is actually Siddharth Dhar. He's the same guy, the Indian origin guy who landed in Syria, and we were tracking him, and he was seen then with his newborn.
Yes.
So they are all from the same group who were inspired by Al-Majroon or the Anjum Chaudhry group. Anjum Chaudhry now finally is in prison in 2015. Another thing that has come out of Khurram is that despite the fact that he was seen and then he was under the police watch list, he was given a job as a trainee, a customer trainee in the London Underground for about less than 6 months. But he was suspended over a period of time because of his absence, not because he was taken in by the police at one point and was on the watch list. So this is a very big disparity that is now coming through within the system, and that will raise a lot of questions for the police as well as MI5. Also about the policies and the law here, that yes, all the hate speech preachers could exist because of on the back of freedom of speech, but of course that is coming to bite the British government now. I just want to bring in, I'm just bringing in you the main points here, yes. Shiv. Also about the third attacker, Yusuf Zakba. Now he is of Italian Moroccan origin, born in Italy and then living possibly with his mother in Bologna. He was tried to go to Turkey and from there possibly to Syria, which is when he was stopped by the Italian police, reported to the British police. So he should have been on that 23,000 at least watch list, if not the close 3,000 watch list. But when all this was identified, police said that one of them, Khurram, was on their watch list, while not Yusuf. So there are a lot of questions that are coming through. About,
we're going to keep a track of every single step that the investigation takes, because this is very, very interesting. A person of Pakistani origin let loose earlier. Investigation didn't happen earlier. What other links could he possibly have with the ISIS or otherwise? Are there more? We'll keep a track of that. Lavina, thanks for joining us with the very latest. Meanwhile, following the felicitation of Major Litul Gogoi after he tied a man to his jeep to deter stone pelters in Kashmir, an eminent historian compared the army chief to the British monster General Dyer, the man responsible for the Jallianwala Bagh massacre of almost 400 people back in 1919. Well, now political parties have jumped into the fray, no surprise, using the opportunity to pile abuse on General Bipin Rawat, chief of the Indian Army. They accuse him of having a political agenda. The question we're asking is, how shameless do you need to be to compare India's army chief, an honorable general, with the British General Dyer?
One of the most horrific and blood-curdling moments in India's history. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre. 379 people butchered, over 1,000 by unofficial accounts. It was this man responsible for the cold-blooded murder of innocents, General Reginald Dyer. And now, 98 years later, historian and social scientist Partha Chatterjee feels India is experiencing its General Dyer moment again, referring to the use of a human shield in Kashmir and the army chief's felicitation of the officer involved.
I have said what I wanted to say. I have made my argument as clearly and as precisely as I could in my article. I have nothing more to add to it at this point. Thank you.
You still stand by what you said?
Yes, I have said what I needed to say in my article. I have nothing more to add at this point.
The eminent historian has found support from political parties as well.
General Rawat's comment in support of his Major Gogoi was not called for. The army is not outside the pale of the law. The army cannot do anything which will tamper with the human rights of individuals.
The CPM has accused General Rawat of reflecting the government's view of suppressing protests with force and causing irreparable damage to the army.
So you said that the army chief's reflection reflects the mindset of Modi government.
Whatever there is written there, you can read.
The government has jumped to the army's defense.
Comparing Major Gogoi's incident and then General Rawat's observation to General Dyer, atrocious, height of perversion, idiotic comparison.
The BJP has surprisingly been backed by the Congress.
Well, I reject that comparison. It's totally inappropriate. General Dyer was part of a British colonizing imperialistic force. While here we have a situation in Kashmir, which we are, all of us are the same people. We're all Indian.
Almost 2 months after it happened, the storm around the use of a human shield in Kashmir is yet to die down. With Manugya Loiwal and Jeet Kundu in Kolkata and Supriya Bharadwaj in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
And earlier I spoke to representatives from the left who've been piling abuse on the army chief, a defense expert, and from the ruling party. Here's what they said. I want to ask you a very simple question. Who is the army going to report to, sir? Who do you want the army to report to if not the political government? Do you want the army to behave by itself?
We would like the Indian army to report to the Constitution. We want the Indian army.
The Indian army does not report to the Constitution, sir. The Indian army reports to the executive government. In case you didn't know that. Everyone reports to the Constitution. The fact is, the Indian army is an arm of the government. It's as simple as that. For better or worse, it's an arm of the government.
To raise the points which are essential.
Colonel Kaul, please respond to that. The CPM says the army chief is exercising a political agenda. Basically, they're saying that he's a lapdog of the Modi government and he is doing what they're asking him to do in Jammu and Kashmir. Colonel Kaul, please respond.
I'm afraid Mr. Dr. Fawad Ali is absolutely ignorant, totally ignorant of the way the army works. He, I'm afraid, needs to go back to primary school with regard to learning what the army and how the army functions. These people have a habit of shooting their mouths off without knowing the intricacies and the working order. This inquiry has not been ordered by the government of India. This is an internal inquiry being done at the level of a brigade to find out what the problem was and why did this officer take this action. That's it. No further beyond that.
The CPM says that the army chief is not acting according to the Constitution. He is taking government orders and doing what the Modi government wants him to do in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, I answered that by saying the army is an arm of the government and they have to listen to instructions because this is a democracy. But how would you respond to that? Because it's a political argument saying that the army is basically manifesting political instructions from the center.
Mr. Fahad Ali and his cohorts in the leftist parties are bereft of any ideology. They are living on a borrowed ideology. The very concept of India does not suit them. They are not happy with it. They blame Modi government when the soldiers get martyred in the valley. But when Indian army kills Burhan Wani, they shout against the army. They always blame the Indian army for whatever they are doing. What Major Gogoi does, they say it's human right violation. And what China does with the Muslims, Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang province, they just keep mum. So they have double standards. They have a borrowed ideology.
We're leaving you with a big India Today impact. Our team yesterday exposed the chronic rot in the UP police, Yogi Adityanath's anti-Romeo squads and their bitter truth. Corrupt officials taking money to harass innocents and put them behind bars. Our expose has now led to a series of high-profile impacts. Take a look.
It's a massive India Today impact. Heads have begun to roll after India Today exposed how some corrupt UP policemen under the garb of anti-Romeo squads were taking money to put innocent people in jail. Within hours of the expose, Onkar Nath Pandey, the in charge of anti-Romeo squads in Meerut's TP Nagar, was suspended. Onkar Nath was caught in a sting operation conspiring against the innocents.
लड़का शरीफ है, उसको कोई क्रिमिनल रिकॉर्ड तो नहीं है, तो चाहे कट्टा लगा के अंदर करवा दो, क्या दिक्कत है? जिसे हमें तो भाई जो मिलेगा उसी को लगा दो, वो आप देख लेना। अच्छा, इसके लिए बिल्कुल फ्रैंक होकर जवाब बताना, कोई मुझे बीच में रखना है, किसी और को बीच में रखना, क्या कह दूँ उससे, क्या कह दूँ, क्या सेवा? 50 तो होगी, 50 क्या 50,000? ठीक है, 50,000 में क्या होगा ये बताओ। जेल भेज देंगे इसको।
इस पर तत्काल उप निरीक्षक विनीत वर्मा को निलंबित कर दिया गया है। उसकी जांच पुलिस अधीक्षक ग्रामीण के द्वारा की जा रही है। जो भी तथ्य निकल के आएंगे उसके आधार पर कार्रवाई उनके विरुद्ध की जाएगी।
आपके यहाँ से हमको जैसे ही अनएडिटेड इसकी सीडी मिलेगी, हम उस पर पूरी जांच कंप्लीट करके उनके विरुद्ध और कड़ी कार्रवाई करेंगे।
Uttar Pradesh's Director General of Police, Sulkhan Singh, has sought preliminary probe report from top cops of Agra and Meerut on India Today's sting operation.
प्रारंभिक जांच इस संबंध में प्राप्त कर ली गई है, जिसको भी डीजीपी मुख्यालय भेज दिया गया है।
Taking cognizance of the expose, the DGP's office has asked India Today for a copy of the sting operation. While UP Minister Shrikant Sharma lauded India Today's expose and assured tough action, Congress leader dubbed the UP government a farce.
आपने जिस तरह से स्टिंग दिखाया है, अच्छी बात है। ये लोगों को हम लोग एक इन्वेस्टिगेशन भी करेंगे और ऐसे लोगों के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करेंगे।
बेसिकली एंटी रोमियोज है, वो कह रहे पैसे दे दो, हम आपको फ्रेम कर दें। पुलिस वाले भी इन्वॉल्व।
अब यूपी में कौन कौन नकली है ये अंदाजा लगाना मुश्किल है।
सर, आपको लगता है कि पूरी सरकार ही नकली है?
और क्या?
The anti-Romeo squads were set up to protect women from sexual harassment at public spaces. Now they pose a challenge for the Yogi Adityanath government. With India investigation team, Bureau Report, India Today.